goes. So you're welcome to the framework to create an extraordinary career and business. I believe in doing something extraordinary. As a Christian, I believe that you should not be normal. You are created to dominate. You are created with a sound mind. You are created with power. You are created with a lot of stuff inside of you. So why should you be average? Why should you be a mediocre? I don't think you have any reason to be ordinary. You can be extraordinary in whatever you have decided to do with your life, either as a working professional or as an entrepreneur who is building an incredible company. And there are certain things, there are certain systems and structures and frameworks, both in your life, in your community, in your industry, and the world at large that you need to put to work for you to see the results. Let's get to the how. Now, being extraordinary requires courage. Being average requires nothing. The only thing you require to be average is just to exist. But let me tell you, for you to be really extraordinary, it requires a lot of courage. Because being extraordinary, one thing that you will be doing is you will be breaking down and pulling down conventional ways of doing things. Many people will not believe in you. Many people will question your ways or question your dreams. You understand? I can give you a typical example of what it means that it needs courage to be extraordinary, right? I remember in 2012 or 11 when I was sharing my dreams that, you know, I want to travel the world and speak and train and do consulting, all of that. And many people are like, that is not possible. Come on, it cannot work, right? So it takes a lot of courage for you to decide to be different or to build something different or to go a step further than what people around you have done. And this is the first thing that we need to understand. Why is this important? Because when you don't understand this part of courage, you will quickly allow people's opinions to actually determine the quality of your dedication. And there are many people that have left the extraordinary path to become average because somebody spoke against what they wanted to do. So when you lack the courage, somebody would definitely be able to pull you away from the path that you have chosen. You now tell your friends, oh, you know what? I want to someday work with the World Bank. And they're like, who will send you there? Who in your family has gone that far? Who can sponsor you there? Right? But then with just some basic opinions like that, you can quickly leave the extraordinary to become average. That's why personally, I believe that courage is among the top 5 personal attributes of great men. If you lack courage, many things can go wrong in whatever you have decided to do. So this masterclass is for people who have made up their minds to make drastic changes with the aim of making their careers and business to be extraordinary. Now, we are going to go through all of these frameworks, and we're going to start from number 1 right up to the last one that I have. And one thing I always like to encourage when you are going through a session like this, especially where you will be getting access to things that you should be doing and stop doing. One of the most important things that you should be doing should be self-analysis, should be self-awareness, should be carrying out what I like to call decision metrics. So with what I am going to say, you begin to look at what am I doing right now? What do I need to stop doing? And what do I need to start doing? Because anybody or everybody definitely will fall in one of these. There are some things that you will hear that you need to continue doing because you are already on track, right? There are some things that you need to stop doing, and there are some that you need to start doing afresh. And one thing about seasons of life is, in any important season of your life, you need to always identify, what do I need to stop doing, and what do I need to start doing? All right, point number one, we are looking at in this framework to create an extraordinary life. We're looking at number one, change your routine, change up your routine. We are creatures of habit, and this can lead to staying comfortable. Now, many people are not able to see exceptional results in their careers and business because they are trying to build from outside in. Meanwhile, it is from inside out. See, anybody you see manifesting anything on the outside, they are actually manifesting what they do internally. They're actually manifesting the efficiency of their daily routine, especially in career and business. Any business you see making excellent sales, check their marketing routine. Their marketing routine is very efficient. Any professional you see performing very well at what they do and creating excellent value and bringing a lot of stuff to the table, check the routine that they do behind the scenes. For example, I've spoken in many places across the world in business. And one time I was speaking in a conference, and one elderly man came and asked me, you know a lot of deep stuff about business that I don't, the way you have a lot of knowledge and data about the business world, I don't think at your age you have that kind of knowledge. That was what he was saying. Then he went forward and asked me, so tell me, I want to know your research and study routine. That's somebody who understands a lot about what you see on the platform and what you see behind the scenes. Then I started telling him my routine. I said, between 2012, 2016, and 17, I used to go to bed at 11 p.m. and I wake up at 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. and I study any business. I used to buy business books. I used to buy a lot of business books. I study, I create stuff, I contribute, I do all I could do. Because one of my beliefs is when the curtains will be torn, what will you say? There are many people looking for platforms, but their daily routine cannot enable them to stand on those platforms. So anybody you see manifesting anything, check their routine. So there are many people here right now where you want to become an industry captain as a professional. You want to build an incredible business in your sector, in your industry. But then your daily routine does not put you in that position where you can become very valuable to do what you want to do. So you are shallow. You are shallow as a professional. You are not deep. So it makes you to be very unstable, right? So I like to reference a lot to the Bible, and whether you're a Christian here or not, sometimes the Bible is one of the best success books you can read, right? Now, the Bible says, may you prosper as your soul prosperous. Now, you can rephrase it in the terms of, may your career prosper as your daily routine prospers. You get the concept? So now, because the challenge is when you are on the platform, when you are having a meeting with somebody, when you are going for an interview, when you are meeting an investor, you can only say what is in your soul. You can only say what is in your mind. When I say the soul, I hope you understand, because your mind makes up part of your soul. Your will and your attitude and all of these things make up part of your soul. So when the Bible says, when may you prosper as your soul prospers, it's actually saying, may you prosper as your mind is prospering, as your will is prospering, as your emotions are growing, as your attitude is becoming better, because those are the various platforms or various elements that make up the soul. So many times you get to meet a lot of young people. Like I was talking to one young person a few days ago, and she was saying how she wants to build an incredible career in what she wants to do. Then I asked her a question, just like a benchmark to weigh out where she is. And unfortunately for her, since the year started, she has not started and completed any book in her sector. Then I asked her, so how do you want to become a professional when you have not read what other professionals have written and you know the gaps that they have skipped in their research so you can also contribute and become a professional? That's why she was looking at me. right? So change your routine. This is very important in whatever you're trying to build. Now, number two, learn something new every month or two. This is something I strongly encourage. There's something I teach in my exclusive mentorship platform for business people and executives. It's called innovative learning. It's a concept I developed about 3 years ago, innovative learning or innovative curriculum learning. And sometimes I create this curriculum for my clients. Now, and part of the objective of this curriculum is to position the clients in a position whereby they can learn something significant every month or every 2 months, right? Because there is no way that you can be set apart. There's no way that you can be extraordinary when you know the same thing that everybody knows. Then automatically you are average. That's a fact. If you have the same level of information that everybody has in your circle, in your environment, you're actually average. You are not extraordinary. So one of the best ways to take yourself a step further and become extraordinary and quickly position yourself for opportunities is to always learn something new every month. And there's this concept I'm always teaching. If you go to the same school like everybody else, and you depend on the same knowledge that everybody is depending upon, you all are the same. You all are average. And if you are depending only on the knowledge that they have trained you to get a job, the same system will train somebody with the same information and they will come and kick you out and get a job. If the same system can train you and give you a job, the same system can train another person and replace you with a new person they have trained. So what do you now do to make sure that you can stay above the people that the system is training? Learn what the people within the system are not willing to learn. And this way you can position yourself to start learning something new every month. So you can begin to look at, if you can just decide, start from the basics, start buying books in your field and start reading. I can bet you that among your classmates or among your age mates, your friends in your circle, guys around your church or your community, 99% of them are not going to read a book every week or every month. So just doing that alone sets you apart and increases your chances of becoming extraordinary. When was the last time you did something for the first time? So learn something new every month. Be intentional about it. When you hear something you have never heard before, try to go read. There are many of you who have heard about blockchain and cryptocurrency. Have you really gone to study and understand how will blockchain disrupt my industry? Maybe you don't know. I don't care whether in farming, e-commerce, you work in the government, wherever you are. Blockchain technology would disrupt everything in the next 10 to 15 years. So the only way to not be kicked aside as an entrepreneur, the only way for your business not to be disappointed or to lose in the industry tomorrow is for you to start learning something new about blockchain technology. Start asking questions. How does this work? Where are they right now? Where will it be in the next 2 years? How will it disrupt my industry and my kind of business? And that's how you become extraordinary. So learn something new every month. One of the ways that you can do to learn something new every month is to follow experts or people in your sector that have gone ahead or have proven to be thought leaders, right? So there are many people on the call or on the masterclass because they received the email because they read newsletters from me every morning. So just that alone can start positioning you in a place where you can actually learn something new every month or every 2 months, or why not every day? Okay, point number 3. If you are learning something valuable, leave me a comment. Leave me a comment in the chat box. I am learning something new. I learned something new. Leave me a comment. Indicates in the chat box that I'm getting value. If you are getting value, comment I'm getting value. Let me know that you are not sleeping. All right, good. Happy to hear that. All right, let's proceed. Number 3. Hang around with others that live extraordinary lives. Yes, I teach a lot about relevant professional networking because I believe relationships remain one of the most important structures that God ever established for mankind. I always say that there are many people who have fallen in a pit and they have remained in that pit because there was nobody to send a hand from above and pick them out. There are people that entered a deep valley. They were walking through the valley of the shadow of death and there was nobody to send forth a hand and drag them out. I always give an example. They said you're a business person and you're doing your business and in less than not something happens, maybe fire or something, thieves, whatever happens, and then your business crumbles. And then you don't have a good circle of people around you and you are looking for help. You can't get a bank loan. You don't have a circle of friends that can actually just come together and raise money for you to go back into business. If you're not careful, you can be in that spot for the next 5 to 10 years, not because you don't want to succeed, not because you're not willing to work hard, but because you don't just have somebody who can send forth a hand down from that valley and drag you up to where they are. That's the power of relationship. And it's very important for you to learn how to be a go-getter, proactive, as far as building professional relationships are concerned. Forget about the fact or the perspective that you're going to look as if they call it in Cameroon chook skinning, right? There's nothing wrong with chook skinning as long as you're building relevant relationships and creating the right partnerships, okay? So hanging around with others that live extraordinary lives could be one of the things that can challenge you to be extraordinary. There are always those people that you wonder, how are they doing it? How do they do this thing? The best way is to learn from them, not to gossip or not to get jealous about them. There's nothing you can do when you're jealous about somebody who has gone ahead of you. Totally nothing. There's nothing you can do. They don't even know that you exist. They don't even know that you actually exist. That's why the least thing that I can ever think about is what people sit and talk about me. Like, who cares? As I always say something, while you're catching feelings, I'm catching flights. So what are you going to do about it? Nothing. Basically, right? So what am I trying to say? Because sometimes people avoid to build relevant relationships, but they're like, I don't want people to see that I am trying to get close or choke skin and all of that. And so what? Life is about relationships. It's about give value and get value. And one of the most powerful things that establish relationships is your ability to give value. Don't always be the taker. What can you give? That's the best way to establish relationships. I always teach relationships further and I talk about 3 levels of relationship. Level 1 is when you know somebody. Like right now, there are people here that you know me, right? And maybe you have my email because you emails on me, you have my WhatsApp number, maybe you have saved it and put my name there, but I don't have yours. I don't know you, but you know me. That's level 1 of relationship. Same like there are some big people who have gone ahead of me that I admire them. Or people, maybe I just admire them and I respect them. And sometimes I just save their emails in my address book or keep their numbers. Now that's level 1 of relationship. Level 2 of relationship is where you try to get their attention. I am not talking about, now before I get there, when you're building relationships, there are 3 levels to build relationships. You build relationships with people ahead of you, people in the same level with you, and people beneath you. Everybody has those 3 stratas. Never forget that. People ahead of you, especially in career and business, there are always guys who have achieved more than you. They know more than you. They have more experience than you. They have more money than you. They have more network than you. They can make one phone call and they change your life. That is like, there's nothing you can do about it. You get a point? So you need to build relationships and have that conscience that you need to build a relationship with people ahead of you. Okay? Then there are people in line with you. Maybe same level of knowledge, same level of money, same level of wisdom, same level of whatever. You know, those your colleagues, those your friends and all of that. Yeah, you do that. Then beneath you, those that are looking up to you too, those that you can also support, you can also advise, you can also encourage, you can also share value, partner with them and do all of that. Never ignore that, because someday, at some point in your life, you are down there too. So don't claim as if you have arrived and ignore those below. So every human being build their relationship in these three stratas: those ahead of you, in the same line with you, and beneath you. Okay, in a book I think by this great person, he said that you should build your relationship in 33% stratas. That means if you have 33% of people in your network should be those who have gone ahead of you, the high class, 33%. Then 33% of the relationship should be those in the same line with you. And then 33% of those that have relationship should be those beneath you. Right? So basically, if you have 10 friends or relationship, basically he's saying 3 should be those who have gone ahead of you, 3 in the same line with you, 3 beneath you, or you share 1.5 somewhere. You get a point. But again, relationships are very important. Personally, for me, professional relationships have changed my life personally. Having the right friends around play a very big role. And I want to emphasize your ability. Please mute your mics if you're in a noisy environment. Thank you. So your ability to intentionally invest in this is very important. Very important. And one of the best ways to establish relationships, learn how to give first. Learn how to give first. You must not give money. There are some people that you cannot give them money. They already have money more than you. What do you want to give them? But how can you serve them with your time? How can you serve them with your skills? How can you buy them a significant gift if you can afford it? It must not be big. I have established a relationship with a pen. Just buying a good, significant pen and packaging it well and giving it, it means whatever it means to me. I explain what it means and why I'm giving the pen, and he sees the value in it and he cherishes the pen. Sometimes it's just a frame, whatever they can do. But you need to do that, because before you hang around with others who are extraordinary, you have to create the relationship. You have to create the relationship. Okay, this is very important, very important. There is no way that you will have an incredible life without the right people around you. You're going to have a lot of limitations, a lot of limitations. There are things that some people are struggling with. Meanwhile, just a simple phone call will change everything you have been struggling with for 3 years. Just a simple advice from somebody who has more experience and more exposure can remove confusion and waste from your life. But because you don't even know who to call or who to react to or who to reach out to, you get to struggle. Okay, so do that. Number 4, commit yourself beyond self. Now, this is a very important principle in creating an extraordinary life. Learn how to be in service to others. If you look at any successful person, they all have one thing in common. They are in service to others. Now, this is where I encourage a lot of innovative, intentional volunteering. There are some platforms that for you to stand on those platforms, it actually depends what you have done or where you have served. And one thing in the professional setting is your ability to present a good portfolio. Your ability to present a good portfolio. And many people, especially young people who are still trying to build a good career, need to use this particular element, number 4, to commit beyond themselves. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you read accounting in school and you just graduated, but you're looking for a good job. You want to get a good job. Now, let me tell you something. We recruit for companies. I do recruitment and interview for companies. Let me tell you something. No company will recruit you because they pity you that you're a fresh graduate. No. Let me tell you, companies think in terms of profit and loss, expenses and income. Because sometimes people arguing that, oh, they should be included, they should be recruiting fresh graduates and new entries. Yes, it's good. It's good. We encourage that too. But as a typical CEO, a typical business person thinks in terms of income and expenses. So when they are recruiting you, their main goal is the salary to you is income, the salary to a company is expenses. So they're looking at, if I'll be spending money on this person's salary, what are they bringing to the company? Now, what brought me to this? Because one of the best ways that you can convince a recruiter or a CEO to recruit you and work with you is the ability that you can create value and advance the mission of the company. And one of the best ways to do this goes beyond your certification. Certifications are good, but your ability to present a portfolio ushers you more into that opportunity. And this is where the importance of committing yourself beyond self is important. You get to build a portfolio that you can use in different dimensions. You get a point? For example, you read accounting, you read marketing, whatever, but you left school, you don't have a job. You can decide and say, okay, you know what? You are going to pick 3 startups, 3 small businesses in your community, where you can go work with them for 2 days a week, 3 hours a day, whatever they can do, and assist to develop their stock system, to develop their asset register, to develop their tax system, whatever that you can do, you do that. Now that is committing yourself beyond self. You are in service to those startups. And in that particular process, you are building a portfolio. Now, you come before an interview, and let's say a company is looking for 2 accountants. Accountant A comes and now asks, since you left school, what have you been doing? Or tell us about your professional achievement or career. And then accountant A say, so since I left school, I've been looking for a job. I have not had a job. Now, there's something that recruiters call employment gap. When a recruiter sees employment gap in your CV, like you left school this year, but you have not worked between that time to now, they start questioning your ability to create value immediately, except you explain and give them a valid reason. Maybe you gave birth, or maybe something happened, you were sick, you had an accident, yes, they can understand that. But if there is a gap, an employment gap, experience gap, that you cannot defend, that they can believe you, you're already in trouble. You are already in trouble, right? So now that's accountant A. He or she now gives the natural flimsy excuse. So since I left school, I've been looking for a job I've not seen. Now accountant B now comes, who has been in service to others. He or she now says, I have been a freelance accountant where I identified 3 startups in my community, and I served them at least 6 hours every week. And in serving these 6 startups in the last 3 months, I assisted the 3 startups to build their asset register with a combined worth of 10 million francs. I assisted them in creating a stock register that will enable them to track their stock, their BUFA stock, and all of that. Now, that is a job seeker who is talking, but is talking with portfolio. That's why I always say that there's a difference between a job seeker, a typical job seeker, and a job seeker who is a value creation job seeker. And that's the benefit of committing yourself beyond self. You understand? So this works a lot, and it advances your cause. And apart from you getting the portfolio, it gives you the opportunity to expose yourself, to gain more experience, and to practice, and to increase your hours of expertise, which contribute to your ability to become an authority in a particular field. Because research says that for you to become a thought leader, a serious expert in a particular sector, you need to have invested at least 10,000 hours in that sector. That's actually 7 years and above. For you to be called an expert, this is one of the basic fundamentals of this, of being called a thought leader. One of the first conditions is how many hours of practice have you put in that particular field? If you say you're a master expert software engineer or trainer or whatever that you do, communication expert, whatever you do, one of the first things that they use to rate your level of expertise and professionalism is how many hours of consistent practice, not just lazy work, no, ethical, professional practice in that field. Then they can start calling you an expert, right? Good. Number 5, stop making excuses. Stop making excuses. Yes, this is one of the biggest challenges across the African continent. A typical young person would complain of the government, they will complain of the environment, they will complain of this and that. I am not saying that we have the best government. But what I'm also trying to say is, if you leave your country and see what others go through in other countries, you will appreciate your country. You understand? The day I went to Chad, I appreciated Cameroon. No bias to those who are in Chad there. So some guys who are in Chad, if they go to other countries, they will appreciate their country. Let me tell you guys, every country has problems. Even the United States of America, they have their own problems. Citizens have their own problems with the government, their own complaints and all of that. One of the best ways to advance is for you to stop making excuses and focus on creating, focus on becoming better. There are many people that even they give you the best government now, yes, they will still be failures. Many people that they give them the best government right now, they will still struggle. They put them in the best countries right now, they will still struggle. So there is no way that you are going to advance in your life and in what you're doing if you are very good at making excuses. You can make excuses for Africa. You can make excuses for Africa. It's going to hinder you and hinder your ability to create an extraordinary life. You get a point? So it is very important that as professionals and entrepreneurs, we need to learn how to stop making excuses. Eliminate any excuse that gets in the way of your valuable activities. You're about to do something that is important and an excuse is coming. Eliminate that excuse. That's why in the same country like Nigeria, Cameroon, Nairobi, Kenya, many of these countries where you see a typical young person complaining, many others are still making it in the same country and still bringing opportunities from Europe and America into the same country. The difference is why some people are very good at spending time at making excuses, some have gone a step ahead to redirect their attention from excuses to creation, to contribution, to becoming better. Where attention goes, your focus goes. So if your attention you keep focusing your attention on excuses and what is going wrong, and instead of tapping into the opportunities available, you are not going to make anything that makes sense. And the best way to get stuck in an average life is for you to make excuses, especially excuses about things that you cannot change. My best advice is focus on the things you can change. You understand? Focus on the things you can change. So if you consistently make excuses, one of the things that happens when you make excuses is that you limit your capabilities, you limit your potentials. There are many of you listening to me right now, you will realize that excuses are the primary reasons why you're unable to accomplish what you want to accomplish out of life. They're the primary reason. Because one thing that an excuse to do is that you have a goal, a business or a career you want to do. Immediately want to embark on that stuff, you just think of how bad the government is in your country. You just think of how somebody tried around you and was not able to make it. Are you that person? The most stupid thing I'm still trying to understand is how somebody looks at somebody's challenge and then bring it into your own case. Like, how is that real? You guys don't have the same mindset. You don't have the same resources. You don't have the same destiny. You don't have the same path. There are many things that you guys don't have the same. Whatever happened to the person, that's their problem. It doesn't define you. What defines you is what you will do with your life, the responsibility that you're willing to take. So it is time for you to stop making excuses and validating your failures or procrastinating and start taking steps that are necessary to get you to where you want to be. If you want to remain in misery, then continue with excuses. And one thing about excuses that when you want to make them or you're looking for them, you always find them. Oh, and they always sound so real, like so real. But the moment you shut them out, there are many things that you actually forget that they exist in Cameroon, they exist in Nigeria, they exist in Kenya, or wherever you're following the session from. Okay, good. Now, we have laid the foundation with these 5 elements of the framework. Now, we're going to take it a step further from number 6, which is we're going to start looking at some different dynamics as far as creating an incredible life career is concerned. Now, these other dynamics from now henceforth are very critical for you to actually record that extraordinary life. And these are things that until you start doing them, you will not see the extra. You will only remain the ordinary. You get a point? So the question now is, are you willing to do what you can do to see the extra? Number 6, realize that you will have to make sacrifices. Now, this is one thing that many people have not realized. Many young people have not realized that for anything that you will achieve in career and business, you will have to make sacrifices. And I wanted to say this, and I share my personal experience, and of course, some people I've worked with. I was sharing with somebody, and I said, I only actually moved to an apartment or to a very good house, I think like 2020 or 2021, because I was always bootstrapping. I have a company I've been trying to build, right? My company now has 17 employees, a couple of subsidiaries, and there are places I want to take that company to. And in the last 12 years, I've been trying to build my career as an entrepreneur. There are things that I could not do. You know, there are some things that you cannot do and experience progress at the same time. The funny thing is, many people want to do those things and experience progress. No, it doesn't go like that. At some point, either you choose progress and leave those things, or you choose those things and forget about progress. As simple as that. You cannot, the two cannot go together. It's the same like results and excuses don't go together. Either you choose results or you choose excuses. You cannot have excuses and results at the same time. It doesn't work like that. So one thing about extraordinary careers and businesses that you will require to do is be willing to make the sacrifices. For an entrepreneur listening to me right now, one of the things that you have to do is to make the sacrifice of maybe reducing your living standards so you can reinvest any amount of money you're making back into the startup. It's called bootstrapping, if you want to do that. But again, people have different levels of willingness to sacrifice. For somebody like me, I was willing to go as long as I could to see that vision stand. right? So despite the fact that I was having, maybe the brand was growing and all of that, I was still living, majority of my life as an entrepreneur, I've lived in a one-room house. What they like to call in Cameroon, self-contained, right? Who cares about, oh, Joybert living in a one-room, all of that? My focus is where I'm going to. The extra 50,000 francs or 100,000 francs I'm paying on that house rent is what can do a lot for my business. It can buy a new computer, it can pay a staff salary, it can do something that will contribute to the long-term success. Like I used to fund, somebody was trying to advance me that, no, you need to have a life before you do this. I said, okay, you know what? Here's my own way of doing this thing. Here's my own way of doing this thing. I want to not have a life now and build a system and an institution that can fund the kind of life I want years later. So you can prefer to have your life now. I don't know for you, that's a decision, but this is what I want to do. Especially for those who are trying to build a life with limited resources and limited support. There are many people that you don't have a godfather, godmother, any support. The best bet that you have is you and your God. Those are the best things. You are building from scratch. No name, no family support, nothing. Okay? So it's very important to understand that particular point. So what sacrifices are you willing to make? Some people, you just need to sacrifice sleep. If there is one thing I personally sacrificed in my life, especially my personal career, has been sleep. From 2011 to 2016, I used to go to bed at 11 p.m. and I wake up at 2 a.m. And I was, majority of my time during those years, I was studying. So my routine was simple. Some of those years, I had a fresh job. So when I close from work and I come back, I will do what I'm doing. Then I'm going to study from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Then I go to work. I go to sleep, sorry. So I go to work. I go to work from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Then I wake up at 2 a.m. and I study whatever I'm doing from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. That was the routine I had from 2011 right up to 2016. Then from that time, it upgraded. Now I have moved from 2 a.m. to waking up. My day starts at 3 a.m. I don't remember the last time 3 a.m. met me in bed. My normal time is 3 a.m. That's when my day starts. Then I still go to bed. Sometimes I go to bed at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. It fluctuates between those two. It all depends on what I want to do. One of my mantras is that I don't go to bed when I'm tired. I go to bed when the goals for the day are done. I always say something for entrepreneurs. You don't close from your office because you're tired. You close because you're done with your task for the day. As this works a lot for those who are still in their building stage. Of course, when you now have employees, you now have 1,000 employees, 500 employees, how many that you can disseminate work? Good, you have a lot of time on your hands. But when you're a one-man army, you're doing everything. Come on, you need more time. And especially you're trying to build a system and you're trying to build yourself at the same time. It's harder than what people think. It's much, much harder. Now I'll say something funny that if you are any entrepreneur, you are running a business as an entrepreneur and you're still in your early years, and if you are combined effort to build that business, you are not putting at least 6 hours and above, 6 hours and above for those who are working. Because you put 6 hours or 8 hours at your work, then you come back home and you put some hours in your startup so you can go places. But for those who are full-time entrepreneurs, and you are still at your early years, if you are still putting less than 18 hours a day on your business, there are many things that you're not doing. It's not about the business. It's about you building policies, processes, internal systems, and structures behind the scenes. It's about you writing projections, it's about you doing analysis, doing research, and doing all of these things so you avoid guesswork and assumptions. So there are sacrifices that you have to do for you to realize that incredible career and business that you want to build. Remember, we started with point 1, and I said, whatever you see somebody manifesting on the outside in public, forget. It's just a tip of what they do behind the scenes. It's like speaking sessions. It's like speaking sessions like this. Like they hire me to go speak in business conferences and all of that. Sometimes for me to design a PowerPoint presentation that will take me 1 hour to present. Sometimes that PowerPoint takes me 3 weeks to 4 weeks to sometimes 2 months to get an excellent presentation that it will be spellbound after speaking. So you see, it's not about the 1 hour presentation is very easy. That's why there are many people that they listen to me like this, they copy of the things and then they go present because it's the easiest part to do. But to craft out and to prepare the content and all of that and how you're going to deliver and the delivery method, etc., is much harder than actually the talking. And it takes sacrifice to do that. It takes sacrifice to build all of that. And let me tell you one thing about human beings. Majority of human beings are not willing to make the sacrifices. That is why people who are willing to make the sacrifices, just sacrifices alone, can set you apart from 80% of the world's population. If there are 100 people listening, going to do this session right now, 200, whatever, those are following from Facebook, and those are following on Zoom and all of that, I can tell you that if, let's say there are 100 of us right now, if we all go to bed to sleep and they say, wake up at 4 a.m. without somebody waking you up and without any charge or without any motivation, majority will not wake up. About 85% will not wake up. Sleep will steal it from them. So what sacrifices are you willing to make to create an extraordinary life? You may be listening to me right now and you actually know that you are still where you are because you have not made the sacrifice. You know the sacrifices you have to make. For some people, you just need to sacrifice hangouts. You hang out too much. You sure you have a PhD in hanging out with friends. Nothing hanging out and relaxing. But when it becomes a negative habit, that is a problem. Right? Some people is sleep. You sleep 9 hours, 10 hours a day. And anybody who sleeps 9 to 10 hours a day, you calculate very well, before the year runs out, you have actually slept almost 4 to 5 months of your life. And let's assume that and we calculate the hours that you use to watch movies and WhatsApp and Facebook and hang out with friends, you will see that in 12 months, you actually use less, use less about half of the year doing things that don't make sense, excluding rest, of course. You know, rest knows about how long you sleep. There are people that don't even know how to sleep. Sometimes I always encourage people, read books on how to sleep so you know how to make good use of 4 hours of sleep and you actually rest very well. And know your routine that you can go through to rest very well. Some people, you need to take a shower before you go to bed. All right, do it. But make sure that when it's time to rest, rest. Learn how to totally shut down and rest because rest is important for the system. Okay, number 7, never accept the roles by which average people operate by. Now, this is very important. The 7th element in this framework is very important. Many people have not been able to create extraordinary lives and careers because they accept the roles by which average people operate by. You allow an average performer to dictate. You allow an average performer to dictate roles for you. No, no. Never, if you want to create an extraordinary life, never accept the roles by which average people operate by. You need, that's why I always encourage entrepreneurs. If you're in Cameroon, you're in Nigeria, you're anywhere, your next benchmark as far as business is concerned should not be a startup around you. Then you're about to accept the roles by what they play by. Never get a startup, never look at the startup that is almost the same with you and use them as your benchmark. No. Why not pick a global company and use them as your benchmark? Learn what they are doing and contextualize it in your area. It's going to set you apart. That's what I was saying earlier. Let us avoid this issue of you look at what happened with somebody around you, and let's say want to start a business in a particular sector. You now look at what happened. Somebody started the same business and failed. You now look at that and you run away from that idea because you feel that you are also going to fail. No, you have accepted the roles set by a failure, by somebody who failed. Your job as somebody who can think, your job as a creator, your job as a contributor is to improve, is to break the roles and introduce new patterns. Never accept the roles by which average people operate by. Never accept the roles by which your friends operate by. Never accept the roles by which even your family members operate by. Never. Because immediately you do that, you're about to lose your ability to be extraordinary. Because your courage is going to shut down. Your mind is going to shut down. Your standards are going to shut down. And your self-expectations are going to shut down. And immediately you have become mediocre. And you end up doing everything like them, and you are lost in chaos. You are now in the red ocean. Immediately you accept the roles by which average people operate by, you have entered the red ocean. But when you refuse to accept the roles and you're willing to improve on the roles, create the roles, introduce new patterns in those roles, then you're about to enter the blue ocean. I always like to use the scenario in the Bible at the beautiful gate, where Paul, these disciples, Peter and all of that, they were going to the beautiful gate, and then there was this gentleman there who used to beg for alms, right? Then what happened there was the gentleman at the beautiful gate said, was looking at them, Bible says looking at them and expecting them to give him something, because he was used to people giving him gift, money, alms, right? So he was used to every other person giving him money. So when these gentlemen came, who were disciples, when these gentlemen came, who were disciples, what they did was they did not introduce the average ways that other people have been doing, right? They did not do that. What did they do? They introduced a new perspective to the layman at the beautiful gates. So instead of Peter and John giving the layman money like what everybody else have been doing, they introduced a different dimension. That's why if you read, I think it's John, it's Peter talking, he said, silver and gold I don't have to give you. Now they already knew that this layman at the beautiful gate was always receiving money, silver or gold. But he now said, what I have, I will give you. Some people, you need to refuse to accept what others have been doing and introduce what you think you have in your head, what you think you have in your mind. Because others have been doing it and they are failing does not mean that you're also going to fail. But you need to bring to the table, introduce into the market what you have. Like Peter and John. He said, money I don't have, silver and gold I don't have. That is what average people have been giving you. But you see, I'm going to give you something different. So instead of giving you money and you remain lame and never work, I'm going to give you something different that will make you to work and go make your own money. Basically, Peter and John refused to accept the roles by which average people live by. And they introduced their own dimension of whatever they have. For some people, that's what you need to do. You are still, many people are still average because you are doing what everybody else is doing. You are trying to play by the same roles like every other person in the industry with you or in the immediate community with you. And that is what is hindering your extraordinary growth. You will need to work from that. Number 8, spend your time creating rather than consuming. Spend your time creating rather than consuming. Oh yes, this is very important. This is very important. Spend your time creating rather than consuming. You get a point? So, anybody you see leading in their industry, especially people who have become industry captains and industry thought leaders, they are creators, they are not consumers. For example, let me say for example, there are people that since they left school and they did their HND report or BSc project or MBA, MSc project, they have never written any article to contribute to knowledge in their industry. You are a consumer, you are not a creator. People who only consume never lead extraordinary careers and businesses. You can be average. The only reason that Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Dangote's, Tony Elumelo's, Strive Masiyiwa, and any of these great men that you admire across different sectors and continents, check one thing with them: they are creators, they are not consumers. It is contributors who lead.
But that way they will start calling you Chimwemwe. You know Chimwemwe?
Yes. Chimwemwe.
It is contributors who lead the world, not consumers. And it takes a lot of hard work and sacrifice to be a contributor. Let me give you another example. Many of you read from me, basically, right? I write every morning. I send out newsletters every morning on different topics and all of that. The discipline, the ability of writing, despite the busy schedule, and sending out relevant content every morning, not just any kind of content, takes a lot. It takes a lot, right? Now, and that is what many people are not willing to do. So if you are going to lead in your sector, if you are going to create an extraordinary stuff, you need to become a creator. Same in the office. Same if those are working right now. If you really want to gain the promotion, you really want to be promoted, yes, or maybe when they're terminating employees because of downsizing or challenges, you may never be terminated because you create and advance the company. You create systems, you create structures, you create brands, you create products, you create services, you create better ways to serve customers. You are always introducing something that you have created that can enable the business to do better. Same for entrepreneurs. If you want to remain in business, whatever you're doing, what are you creating? What are you always creating? What are you improving upon? What are you introducing? What are you contributing? You get the concept? So you need to look at what do you need to start creating. Many people have consumed for so long, so you are not disrupting anything. You are not contributing anything. You are not creating anything. So it makes it difficult for you to stand out, for you to be extraordinary. So there are many things that you can create. You can create a book, write a book. You can start writing scientific articles and publishing on a particular topic. You can create structures for your business. You can create policies. But if you want to really create an extraordinary career, you need to be a creator. You need to be a contributor. Consumers do not lead. Consumers only consume. So you need to go through the sacrifice of creating. I'm using the word sacrifice because it is not easy to be a creator. You will need to sacrifice sleep, sacrifice personal enjoyment moments, whatever you call it, so that you can create. So what do you need to start creating so you can lead? Okay, we have shared over 8 elements in this framework to creating an extraordinary career and business. Tell me, leave me a comment in the comment section. Which one is, leave me your top 2 so far. I know that all are nice and sweet, but leave me a top 2. Leave me a top 2 in the comment section. Tell me your top 2 in the comment section. Which one is the best for you? Or which one have you made up your mind to start practicing? Leave me a comment. Which one have you made up your mind to start practicing on today? 2. Leave me 2 that you will start practicing. Good. Deny gratification in order to stand out. Yes. 1 and 8. Yes, I'm waiting for feedback. 1 and 5. Stop making excuses. 3 and 4. All right, good. 2 and 6. Beautiful. 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 Good. Before we continue, let me say something. There's one thing that we need to delete from our minds. There are many people that still believe in this dispensation that, you know, for you to succeed, you need to have a godfather or a godmother. Yes, it used to be true 20 years ago, 10 years ago. It used to be like a very serious stuff. But you know, the world has so open now across Africa, globally, Europe, America, that anybody who can do the right thing can actually create something, can actually build an incredible career and business. That's a fact. I have seen many people doing that. Many people doing that. The social media platform as a whole disrupted a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. You see, so that's why I still believe that the biggest challenge for many people who are not able to create incredible careers and businesses is the ability to do what they are supposed to do. Is that ignorance gap? Is that experience gap? Is that knowledge gap? Is that skill gap? And when you're able to, when you start bridging these gaps, you position yourself more for opportunities, for that success that you're looking for. All right, let's proceed as we run up. Number 9, identify new patterns to crush your limiting beliefs. Now, this is very important. It is difficult to create an incredible career and business when you have limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are those things that you believe you cannot do, or when you think about them, you still doubt if you can ever do it. Let's say examples of limiting beliefs always come a lot from family background or from how people grew up. People grew up in a family that no one has ever traveled abroad. They may always tend to feel as if they don't have what it takes to travel out of the country. Now that they now use a family pattern, they now use family history to now instill into them a limiting belief. Meanwhile, a young child growing in a family where somebody has traveled abroad, that instill into them the confidence that they can also do it. So background, family structure, the environment and culture plays a very big role in the kind of beliefs that we have. A child who grew up in a family where nobody has ever bought a car, and maybe they have in their mindset that a car is a luxury instead of a necessity, may tend to have a limiting belief system that they don't have what it takes to get a car or to drive a car of their own. Now, the best way to crush limiting beliefs is for you to identify them first. When I'm doing coaching with somebody, one thing I always, if I identify that they may have signs of limiting beliefs, we focus on identifying the top 3 limiting beliefs. I have met people that don't believe that they can be multimillionaires. I have met people who don't believe that they can travel out of Cameroon, out of their country, because of the circumstances. Poverty circumstances can instill into you the limiting belief. So you need to identify them, then you set new patterns. New patterns, I'm talking about new experiences to get new realities so you can crush your limiting beliefs. Let me give a typical example. There is this young man that I was coaching and he never believed that he could enter a plane. So I think I asked him to get a passport. I think he was 26 that time when we were doing this coaching. I go, you need to get a passport. So I don't know how we're going to travel. I don't know anybody abroad. Get a passport first. Now, sometimes I do those things intentionally is to help you cross a barrier. And when he got it, the next task I gave him was, you need to take a local flight from Yaoundé to Douala and back. You understand? The aim, because there is no way you can crush a limiting belief without introducing a new experience. You don't break a limiting belief in your mind. No. You don't break it with your mind. There are some people in church that the anointing has broken the yoke of limiting belief, but they are still afraid because they have not done something that can introduce a new pattern. And I forced him, you need to get a local flight. And when he entered the plane and came back, oh, this guy was set on fire. He now believes that he can achieve anything in life. There's another guy, there are many of them have done that. I challenge one guy, you need to travel out of Africa. Leave this Africa, because they are thinking the way they're thinking because you have not seen certain things. When you see them, your brain will shake up and balance. You will repent of some of these things that you're saying. And as you need, and I gave me a task, you need to travel to Dubai in 6 months. Your goal, go to Dubai. When he went to Dubai and came back, he saw things. Said, "Child, I will never be a failure in my life." Right? So I'm just giving an example. So sometimes it could just be, there's another guy that I forced him to go learn driving. But I don't know I'm going to get a car. Shut up, go and get the driving, go and learn how to drive. Just you being in the car can break a limiting belief that you thought you would never have a car. It's called exposure to the things that you are afraid of. And when you expose yourself to those things, they now introduce new realities into you. See, majority of young people have limiting beliefs. Some people try to hype and package. Meanwhile, they know the real limiting belief is there. The best way to crush a limiting belief is to identify a set of new patterns, new experiences, get new realities, and crush the limiting beliefs. Okay? If you have a limiting belief, I was talking to one entrepreneur, and he has been afraid to price customers to a certain level. I asked him, but you need to change your price. Start pricing that customer 500,000 francs for the service. And one time I challenged him, price a customer for 1 million. Then they start bargaining down from there. There was a level I entered, I was not pricing, I'll price you in dollars. You reach out to me, I price you in dollars. Oh, yes. Don't get too used to francs. It will limit your currency ability. So what I'm trying to say is, what are those things that you feel that you cannot do? Create a plan. So create a plan to create new experiences so you can get the new realities. Create a plan. Now, leave me, if you have a limiting belief, leave in the chat box. Let me give you some ideas if you don't know what to do. If you have a limiting belief, drop it in the chat box, in the comment section. Who has a limiting belief? Something you know that you keep being afraid that you cannot do it, or it's not possible. Sometimes you think it's possible, sometimes you give up on it. Write it down. The best way you can conquer that thought is a new experience. It's to identify a new experience and do it. Some of you just need to go and eat in a 5-star hotel. Go and eat at Hilton Hotel. Go and eat at La Falaise. Go and eat at which other hotel? Crystal Palace. Is it Crystal Palace? There's this new nice hotel in Aqua in Douala now. I've been planning to go get lunch at that hotel. Just go there. Just go there. That's how you break some stuff. Introduce yourself to a whole new dimension. Okay. You see? So you need to identify all of these things and then begin to set structures to do that. And you're good to go. Okay. Number 10, create a strategy with an action plan for success. Create a strategy with an action plan for success. Create a strategy with an action plan for success. Now, this is very important. Many people want to succeed, have incredible careers and businesses, but they don't have a strategy with an action plan. They don't have a strategy with an action plan. It's going to hurt you so much. It's going to hurt you so much. Let me tell you something. One of the biggest secrets to you creating an extraordinary life and career business is for you to have a strategy with an action plan. Let me give you my example. In 2013 or 14, in 2013 or 14, I created a strategy with an action plan. I call it the battle against poverty. That was my strategy, the battle against poverty. It was me, because like many young people, I come from humble beginnings, humble family, me from a single parent per se. That my dad was never there and all of that, right? So so went through school barely, and then university. When I was done with high school, while I was in high school, I was very certain that I would not go to university. So because my mom could not afford it, right? So that was the whole story. Then I did odd jobs here and there in Bamenda. All I could do, paid my first undergraduate fees and all of that. But then it was not still enough. I was still broke. I was still suffering. I was still going through challenges, just like a poor young guy, like any other person who could barely make 10,000 francs a month per se. So in 2004, as I was growing in knowledge, of course, when I started my purpose journey in 2011 and 12 and all of that, in 2013, I now realized that I need to have a plan. So I now created a plan of action for myself. And this plan of action runs till 2030. Imagine 2014 to 20, I am still in my plan of action. There is nothing, very few, the plan have only improved because of more exposure and more learning, and maybe I've gained more resources. But the plan is basically still the same. So in 2013 and 14, I wrote a plan of action, and I call it the battle against poverty in my life. And in that plan, I established a plan how education was it, because I'm one of those who believe that education is the fastest way out of poverty for many people. Yes. And that's why in that my plan, I had an action plan of when I'm going to have my master's degree and I'm going to have my doctorate degree. You get a point? So that was how I did it. So that's why in 2014 and 13, I already knew that someday I must get a doctorate degree. That was part of the plan. And part of the plan said that I need to create a business, I need to create this, I need to develop skills in this area, I need to develop knowledge, get certifications here and there. There was a whole plan for all of that. I need to expose myself here. Let me tell you, there was in 2015 or 14, I traveled from Kumbu. There's this my friend, Gabila Franklin. He's now in Dallas, Texas. He organized a conference in Limbe. That was the first time I ever traveled to Limbe. I left Kumbu 2014 or 13 I went for that conference because part of my plan spoke about connecting with people who have gone ahead of me, exposure. I left Kumbu, I went for that conference, not paid though, paid and all of that. I paid my transport, found a place where I could sleep, and that was how I came for that. And I've done that many times in different conferences so I could connect with other people. It was part of the plan. You see? So you don't just wake up and you are extraordinary. You don't just wake up and you have a great company. No. For people who follow Apple, you think that Apple just wakes up and have all of that? No. It's a whole long-term plan on how they are going to dominate the mobile phone industry. That plan runs till 2050. It's a whole plan. Same for Meta, former Facebook. They have a whole plan regarding Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, and other platforms on how they are going to dominate and remain sustainable. You think the Coca-Colas and all these companies have made 100 years. They're just there because guess what kind of assumption? No, there is a whole plan carefully crafted out to ensure that that happens. You can also do that at your level. And every strategy and plan should be getting you out of something into something. Mine was a battle from poverty to a better life. There's a video on my YouTube channel on how to win from the place of disadvantage. I've given some tips on how to beat a disadvantaged background, right? So you need to create a strategy. Same for, you want to build a great career. Let's say you want to get a job someday with the United Nations. What is your strategy to do that? You think that just applying jobs on United Nations website is enough? No, that's not enough. That's just one element of the whole plan that you need to have. Oh, yes. There are people that United Nations have reached out to them to work with them because of the things that they do around the field of expertise that they command. Definitely. So many of us need to sit down and craft a strategy with an action plan on how we are going to create extraordinary careers and businesses. A strategy, it must not be perfect. They can give you a blueprint because things are going to change. But as things are changing, you are modifying, you are agile enough to improve on that strategy and the action plan. Because one thing I like about this strategy and the plan is that it enables you not to lose track, not to lose focus of what you're trying to achieve. Because without this strategy and action plan, you can lose focus. Friends can derail you. Family can derail you. They can force you to do this and that, which you are not ready to do. But if you have a good plan, a good strategy, it makes you to see the clear future. I knew that I would travel the world and do the work I do, consulting and speaking, right from 2015. I knew it. The question now was just a matter of time. It was just a matter of time. Because there was, apart from my belief in God, that God can make it possible, I had a very good plan to get there. I had a very good plan to get there. And sometimes the plan will not work right. In that my plan, I wrote that I was going to have my doctorate degree at the age of 30, but I got at the age of 31. You see, it didn't work according to plan, but it's cool. But I was still within the plan. In that plan, I wrote that I was going to organize my first event out of Africa in 2020, but I ended up doing it in 2021 in Dubai. Part of the plan. When you now have this strategy, you are working towards it. For some of you are listening to me right now, when you need to do a plan, and part of your plan could be, you know what, maybe you have never traveled to, for some, maybe you have never traveled out of Cameroon. Maybe you got, okay, you know what, in 2 years, you need to travel to Rwanda. You're going to travel to Nigeria. You're going to travel to Kenya. You're going to go to Dubai. And when you have that plan, you now make sure that you do research and see the things that you can go do in Dubai, in Rwanda, that can contribute to you. Look for events happening around that month in that country, in that city. Reach out to the organizers. Inform they want to attend. Create a relationship. That's what I used to do. And that is how you keep pushing yourself. See, when you sit, opportunities don't position themselves. When you begin to take action with a strategy and with an action plan, that is how you position yourself for opportunities. And when they meet you, something always happens because you are ready for it. Majority, 90%, even more, of people in Africa and business people and Cameroon and career people don't have a plan. They just leave. They just wake up and exist. If you ask them their next 6 months, they will not tell you. And let me tell you, I will say something. Having a clear action plan is a proof of faith. If you really claim that you have faith in God and believe in yourself, one of the things that should prove that is an action plan for the future. It's a clear action plan for the future. Who needs to repent after this and develop a good plan and a strategy? Write in the comment section. If you know yourself. You see, people are already confused, confessing. Try and not get plan. Go and repent at Charlie Epson Bingham. Go and repent. Create one. Save it in your, just on my plan in my private document. I should have shown you my Google Drive. You see, it's there in my drive, save in cloud. Fire can never even catch it. Some people call it leadership development plan. And don't create it and go dump it somewhere. Create it and know how you consult it. Create it and consult it. It's going to help you a lot. And sometimes God can directly write that plan according to his will. Oh, I'm telling you, God can direct you to write that plan and strategy according to his will. And you begin to operate as if he just perfects it for you. Okay? All right. Number 11. 10x the value you provide to overcome the limits set on you by your environment and or people. This is very important. Let me tell you, if you are listening to me from any African country, you automatically already have limits. I'm sure you already know that when anybody leaves America or Europe and comes to Africa, we respect the person more than those who are in Africa or those around us. I'm sure you guys already know that. Right? Oh yes, I've seen that many times. I've seen that many times. I've seen companies, I've submitted bids to do consulting and training for a company, and they ignore me and go import somebody from outside who will come and do something worse, and they'll still come and call me to go and solve the whole problem. I am in my market. Cameroon is my market. Africa is my market. I know the terrain better than anybody who can come from outside. Right? But you see, no, since you are not white and you are not rapping, you are not speaking like white man accent, they don't see that you can do anything. So whatever I'm talking about, limits, you automatically already, you have limits. It's a cultural thing. There are many people in Cameroon that started using my services only the first time I traveled out of Cameroon. There's a guy who owns a company in Douala who reached out to me and boldly told me that I am coming to you because I have seen that at least this thing can make you travel out of Cameroon. And now they hired me to come and train his staff. So there are no limits on us. And that is why you cannot afford to conform or to be average. So one of the things I always recommend professionals to do is 10x the value you provide to overcome the limits set on you by your environment. And I want you to be conscious of this. When you are in Africa, excluding South Africa and excluding countries in North of Africa, I'm talking about Egypt, Morocco, all of that. This is a bit minimal in these countries. But you see, in Sub-Saharan Africa in general, other African countries, it's very typical. Limits already exist. Just because you are African and you live in Africa, there are a lot of limits around you. You understand? And apart from that, the environment limits you. The people around you, you are trying to do something, they don't believe in you, they call you names. You think, that, who do you think you are? What are you trying to show here? You see, all these limits are there. One of the best ways, which this thing has also worked for me, is for you to 10x the value you provide. Don't be average. Don't be a mediocre. The only way you can disappoint them when you are given the opportunity, give 10 times the value that you can give. And this is why I also encourage people, don't let your immediate competition or people around you to be your benchmark. No, don't be that. Look for people that operate according to global standards. They should be your benchmark so that when you learn from them and contextualize at your level, you automatically are better than any other person around you. Personally, there's one thing I do in training and consulting is anybody around me, whatever you're doing is your business actually. I actually don't compare with you, I actually don't compete with you. You are not my competition at all. My competition is a global scene. So whoever I'm benchmarking with is a global professional. So when I'm learning from them, I'm benchmarking with them. When I'm doing a project in Cameroon, I'm doing a project in Nigeria, or anywhere I travel to a project in Africa, automatically the value I give is beyond my peers in the same set, or is beyond what they were expecting. Oh, I have been hired to do trainings in many places. And I got to do the trainings for 2-3 days, like corporate training, staff capacity building. And I'm like, it's beyond what we expect. We were actually worried. Yeah, somebody told me that we were actually worried if you would deliver. So that's why you got the even beyond the money, because you have to prove a point. We live in a country whereby there are certain things you are doing that you have to prove a point. That's why I always laugh at people like many guys in training and consulting, where they just jump around and say, I'm a coach, I'm a trainer, consultant, with very limited, with shallow knowledge, shallow methodologies, shallow processes, and limited experience. And that's why there are many people that they have been called to come and speak in event or concert, and I never called them the second time. Like I've had a lot of feedbacks like that. I used to have a lot of those feedbacks myself when I started early, but I had to learn the hard way. But I've gone to many places to do work, and I say, like somebody asked me just recently, I saw this guy commenting on your post. Is he your friend? I said yes. Say, we brought him there to do something, and he messed the whole stuff off. I say, no, everybody's growing. Everybody's growing. So don't judge him too much. Everybody started from somewhere, right? But we need to also be careful. This is one of the things that we need to do. Don't just excitedly, when they call you for something, prepare. Have sleepless nights if possible. Go deliver, then come and sleep. You are into software engineering, somebody gives you a platform to build, forget about just the money. Go the extra mile if you can, because that alone can open you a bigger door. Because there are limits on you, and you need to do an excellent job so you can use that as your portfolio to prove that you are beyond this limit. to prove that you are beyond what they assume you to be. You understand? This is very important, especially for those of us that want to leave Africa and come and do things across America and Europe. When you are leaving, they have already tagged you. I'm telling you the truth. I've experienced in president in the US, right? Doing some couple of work. We can already tag you. You guys don't have good schools. And I spoke to someone, they said, but wait, where did you study business? I say in Africa, Cameroon. You have not gone to a business. I've not gone to a business school in the US. They have already tagged us that we don't have good schools in Africa. It's a global issue. Talk to people who have left Africa to come and further education there. They always had to do some couple of stuff to make sure that the university here trusts the education that you had. So if you come and you are average, you're an average performer, you can lose a lot of opportunities. You see? So that's the power of 10xing the value that you provide. Because you are not just 10xing because of the money that you're going to make. No, you are 10xing so you can demolish the limits set upon you by your environment and your own people. So there are some things that you go the extra mile. Personally, I've done that. There are many things I go the extra mile beyond what I charge, not because of the money, but because I need to break a belief system that they have about me. It's something that we all are going through. It's like a wall that, and the best way to scale that wall or to break down that wall is to make sure that what you bring to the table, it will surprise them. Let them shut their mouths and say, my goodness, we least expected this from you. Even the same, like even your family members, even people around you, they call you to do something because of familiarity, because everybody has seen you in the quarter, everybody saw you going to school and doing things, everybody has seen you, they now call you to do something. The only way that you can prove that you are not the same person they have been seeing is to bring the value that is beyond what they expected. Keep them spellbound. Then you will create an extraordinary career and business. When I did my event in Dubai, there were guys coming from Ghana, Nigeria. One guy flew from Canada to come. Some guys, some locals came from UAE, from Dubai themselves to come and attend. I knew that it was a multicultural platform. Man, I prepared for that master class like never before. I had to go the extra mile. There were white guys coming to attend the event organized by a young guy who left Cameroon to come organize a business master class in Dubai. That alone already had a tag on it. What is he leaving Africa to come and show us? I definitely know that they had these questions in their minds. But the only way to break those limits and those assumptions is to keep them spellbound. Is to keep them spellbound and 10x the value that you have to provide. Number 12, intentionally shoot for the moon. For the moon, yes. Intentionally shoot for the moon. Now, I'm going to break this down. This is very important. Please, if you have not been paying attention, pay attention to this number 12. Intentionally shoot for the moon. Now, this is where there's a popular saying that shoot for the moon so that when you miss out, you will shoot the stars, right? Now, shooting for the moon is very important. It's very important to stretch yourself. It's almost linked to 10xing your value. But this is where you intentionally stretch yourself and you are committed to that stretching. You set a very high goal and you don't just set it for setting sake. No, you are committed to the high goals that you have set. So you shoot for the moon, but you are not only shooting for the moon, you are committed that you will reach the moon. You are committed to do all your absolute best to reach the moon. So what does that mean? When setting a goal, make it a habit to 10x your goal. Set the goal 10 times. For example, maybe based on your resources, maybe based on your skills and whatever, you run a business. You now know that you can make just 500,000 francs in sales for 1 month. You decide and set that your sales goals for 1 month is 1 million. That's shooting for the moon. You would have shoot for the star, 500,000 francs, but you decide to shoot for the moon by setting the goal at 1 million. Now, you are not just setting this goal to excite you, no. You have set the goal, yes. You now are committed. You are dangerously committed. You are going to promise yourself that you will do whatever it takes to make 1 million in sales. You're gonna do whatever it takes. So you're gonna work so hard to get 1 million in sales that if you don't get the 1 million, you make 700,000 francs. You shoot for the stars. You make 800,000 francs. You make 900,000 francs. That's the meaning of shooting for the moon. So that if you miss out, you shoot for the stars. But if you shoot for 500,000 francs and you are lazy or you are average, what happens? You may end up not making 500K. You may make 200,000, 100,000, or 300,000 francs. So there is a level that you reach, you start shooting for the moon. Any goal that you're setting, based on your analysis, based on your resources, based on what is happening, on average, you can make 500,000 francs. But you decide, okay, you know what? I'm shooting for the moon this time. You now take it to 1 million francs. And then you now promise yourself that you will stretch yourself, you will be committed, you'll be dedicated, you will do things, you will go the extra mile as far as actions are concerned, so you can shoot for the moon. And when you take the actions of shooting for the moon, the ripple effects of the actions are either you make the 1 million or you shoot the star and make 800,000 francs or 500,000 francs, but you always end up making beyond 500,000 francs. But if you shoot for the stars and you miss, you're going to shoot nothing. You're going to fail. That's why I'm encouraging you. So for example, if you're listening to me right now and one of your goals have been to have your master's degree, go and shoot for the moon, add a PhD onto it. Add a PhD onto it. That's shooting for the moon. That's your goal. Whatever you're studying, whatever you're saving as money, whatever you're doing, the goal is PhD. The goal is PhD. You get a point? Shooting for the moon has two major benefits. Number one, first, it forces you to level up your method and think outside the box strategies. That's one thing I love about shooting for the moon. Because when you shoot for the moon and you're committed to it, you are intentionally committed to reach the moon, what happens that your mind is forced to think outside the box. You are forced to seek better methods. You are forced to seek better methods to reach the moon. You get the concept? So it forces you. It forces you. It forces you to level up your method of doing things. It forces you to level up your strategies. It forces you to think outside the box. Because you now know that, hey, I am not just trying to make 1 million. I am trying to make 10 million francs. You now know that, hey, I am not just trying to build a village career. I am not just trying to build a local career. My goal is a global career. So now you stop studying for the local market. You are studying for the local market, the continental market, and the global market. You stop thinking just about the local market. You are thinking about the local market, the continental market, and the global market. You are shooting for the moon. And even if you miss out for the moon, you will rest on the stars. You will rest on the stars. Someone was asking me the other time that why don't I put on my profile that I am an international global speaker. I said, I have not yet reached the moon. I'll only add global speaker on my profile when I've spoken in Asia. So the day I will speak in China or Japan, then I go speak to Oceania and the target is Australia. Then I will add on my profile that I am a global speaker. That's my goal. So you see, I have not yet landed the moon. I am still around the stars. I have spoken in Europe. I've spoken in America a couple of times. I've spoken in the Middle East, spoken in Africa. Yes, okay. What? 4 continents. But I have not spoken, I have not gone to Asia. Asia is a global powerhouse. I need to speak in China. I need to speak in Japan. I need to speak in South Korea. I need to speak in Singapore. I've not spoken in Australia. I need to be there. I'm excited. I'll be speaking in Canada, I think next month. Looking forward to that. Praise God for that. But you see, I am still around the star. I am still shooting for the moon. So every day I am working hard. I am working hard because I know I need to get to the moon. I need to improve my method. I need to think outside the box. I need to create for the global market. I need to work on myself. I need to get ready for this. I need to press on for what I want to see. This will make it a lot easier to achieve your 1x goal. The second benefit of shooting for the moon is that it trains your brain to think big. Yeah, you avoid thinking small now. You avoid thinking local stuff. You're thinking that big stuff now. You know, your brain does not just wake up and you start thinking big. It takes practice. It takes activities. It takes consistent action. That is why I always say that you don't read about bravery and courage and you become brave and courageous. No. You become courageous by taking actions. You become brave by taking action. So you cannot read about thinking big and expect to think big. No, you need to take actions that will warrant you to expand your mind to think big. There are some of you that the only way you're going to start thinking continentally as far as Africa is concerned is you have to travel, you have to leave your country and go to another African country. Just that simple trip alone will expand your mind as far as thinking big is concerned. You get the concept? So thinking big is very critical in life because it opens you up to opportunities. It challenges you to challenge your daily routine. It puts you in a position where you start doing things so you can achieve the things you are thinking about. Some of you thinking big could just be you attending a seminar. Like many of you, this is actually your first time being here attending my master classes. And I do many of these trainings like this, like almost, I did one yesterday. It was mostly exclusive with guys in the Peak Performance Academy. All right. So, but programs like this also contribute to you thinking big. But you need to go and take action. There are many of you need to go and take actions today, tomorrow, this week, next month to challenge your thinking. It's very important. Number 13, there's something I call massive efforts brilliantly organized. MEBO, massive efforts brilliantly organized. It's a concept I wrote about 2 years ago. You take massive efforts, but you make sure that they are well organized so you can get the results you are looking for. Now, let me give an example of massive effort. In 2018, I bought books. I bought about 15 books. That was a massive effort. 15 books. And I challenged myself, I'm going to read those books within 4 months. So massive efforts. Then I broke down the books into weeks. And in those weeks, I dedicated 3 to 4 hours of studies every day as far as those books were concerned, because I was looking for something. I was building my capacity around something. So I was in a mode of, I was in a building capacity mode. And the best thing to do was to initiate massive efforts brilliantly organized. The massive effort was buy books, 15 books in the area of expertise you want to build for that season. Then make sure you organize. There are many of you have bought books you have never read. I'm sure you have bought more than one book, but you have not opened it since you bought it. Am I lying? Comments. If you lie, I will prophesy. If there is a book, you have bought books and you have not read, then you have taken the efforts, but your efforts were not accompanied by brilliant organization. Your efforts have not been accompanied by brilliant organization. And for brilliant organization to work, you need self-discipline. But identify the efforts, then brilliantly organize yourself with self-discipline, have a plan of action, have priority, establish a process, an organized process that you are going to go through. Then your efforts will produce results. And one thing about brilliantly organizing your effort is to make sure that you are not taking effort in the wrong direction. You are not taking effort on things that do not make sense. Are we there? So you need to intentionally practice massive effort, brilliantly organized. There are many of you listening to me right now. You really have dreams to be successful in your career. You really have dreams to be successful in your business, but laziness is eating you for breakfast every morning. You are doing everything like any other person. You are so average in your effort. You are just fitting in. You are just going by every day. No, for you to stand out and to be extraordinary, you need to take massive efforts and brilliantly organize the efforts and get the maximum results that they're looking for. That's why after you leave today, you need to go and establish a massive effort plan of action and brilliantly organize your efforts so you can see the results you are looking for. I've given you an example. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know, look at areas of your life. Look at areas of your business. For business people, it could be marketing. You are so lazy in your marketing. There are some of you listen to me in business for the last 1 week. You have not shared your business on any social media platform. You have not taken flyers and moved door to door to share flyers about your business, but you want customers. Is that no witchcraft? As a businessman, you can practice massive efforts, brilliantly organized. Let's say you want to share flyers. It takes effort to share 1,000 flyers to 1,000 houses, but you need it. I'm saying things I have done. I used to share flyers, 500 flyers, 500 houses. Kumbu, Bamenda, Boya. I've done it there. Massive effort. But they should be brilliantly organized. I'll make sure the flyers were designed, is well printed, the color is good, the information is easy for somebody to seamlessly read and understand. And I look at them, make sure that I'm sharing in quarters that can have potential customers or can talk about it. And I begin to share. Sometimes in Boya, I was sharing flyers, but door to door of cities. Yes, I launched a program for young people. We went out sharing door-to-doors in cities, many cities where students live. Imagine sharing 1,000 flyers in 1,000 rooms in Boya. And it brought us a lot of feedback. There was one program we did in Boya that we were sharing flyers in. We were moving on the street. We identified NGOs and we wrote their names, addressed to them, sent letters to those NGOs. During the day of the event, the hall was jam-packed full. We did not even have more chairs to welcome them. Massive efforts, brilliantly organized. Nothing can ever replace hard work. For smart work to work, you need hard work. Even if you are using technology, you still need hard work. I might not using technology to reach out to you, but I still need to make sure I teach well, I train well, I teach hard and the right way so that you understand. Nothing replaces hard work. There are some of you listening to me right now. You need to go and practice massive efforts, brilliantly organized. If you were practicing massive effort, brilliantly organized, leave me a comment, MEBO. That's how the strategy is always, I always call it MABO. When I say my mind, I want to activate my MABO strategy, but I'm about to do something very heavy. The MABO strategy always works. You're going to work, you're going to sweat, and you're going to work hard because there's what massive effort. But you need to brilliantly organize it. There are some of you that you need to go and practice the MABO strategy. I taught the MABO strategy one time to network marketers. Was it, you know, in Cameroon, I've trained in all network marketing companies in Cameroon that ever stepped in Cameroon, except the ones that are new now. So I've seen some of the network marketers, and I remember I've trained in network marketers. And I used to mentor a lot of network marketers in Cameroon, a lot of them. And many of them had tremendous results, from Long Reach to M Global to Super Life, all of these network marketing companies. One of the strategies I teach them is massive. I bet I have a more unique strategy for maybe for network marketers, which is it's well tailored, it's broken down. And when anybody does that, if you respect it and do it, you always see different results. You always see different results in your business. So somebody needs to go and practice MABO because you need better results. MABO alone can change your life. It can change your business. Number 14, there's something I always teach about: become a modernist. Intentionally become a modernist. Intentionally become a modernist. In other words, look at your industry and follow modern ways of doing things in your industry. That's the meaning of intentionally become a modernist. Some people, you have remained in ancient ways of thinking. Do not let ancient classics ways of doing things hold you back. There are some of you, you are in town, but you are still doing things as if you are in your father's village. That's why you're not having an amazing life. You need to expose yourself. Some of you, you need to learn the latest technologies in your industry and how to use it. Intentionally become a modernist. There is no way you can create an extraordinary career and business in this dispensation if you are not intentionally practicing this element of becoming a modernist. Follow modern ways of doing things in your industry. How well do you know your industry? What are the latest trends and latest ways of doing things in your industry? Learn those things. That's the meaning of becoming a modernist. Intentionally make sure you know the latest of the latest news in your industry. The latest of the latest modern ways of doing things, modern ways of doing things. Many of you, you just need to adopt modern ways of doing things and your life will change. There's one lady I was telling her, you need to be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn to her was like a modern way of doing things. You need to be on LinkedIn and her life will change. 6 months later, she got a good international job on LinkedIn, but she has been lost in one town and doing nothing with her life. Just on Facebook and WhatsApp. WhatsApp and Facebook are old platforms, people don't know. Get on Twitter, get on LinkedIn, Get on more platforms that are more unique and tailored for a particular purpose. Follow websites that are unique. Follow modern ways of doing things in your industry. They are very important. That's how you become a modernist. There are some of you that the same way you have been doing things 5 years ago is the same way you're doing things. Old, ancient ways of doing things, and they are hurting you. You need to become a modernist. Thank God for the internet. You can become a modernist at any time. You just need to pay the price of research, pay the price of studying, pay the price of following the right people. Some of you going through this session right now, your mind has been skyrocketed to a new dimension because you are listening to a modernist. Right? So intentionally become a modernist. Avoid staying old. Avoid using old ways of doing things without even researching new ways of doing things. For those who are registered members in my PPA, once in a while, I always drop into the group something new that they can do with their mobile phones or technology. Like, what? It existed? And I'm like, I've been using this for 2 years. Right? So it's the more you are exposed to those things, the more it increases your chances of creating an extraordinary career and business. Okay, there was a time I was doing a training on 40 online tools that every entrepreneur and professional need to know. 40 online tools, and many people did not know more than 5. Meanwhile, there are many of these online tools that are very good that you can use. Okay, so become a modernist. Intentionally become a modernist. And how can you become a modernist? Number one, you can start by following top institutions in your sector. Yes, if you're in agriculture, follow the top highly researched, innovative, tech-driven agricultural companies in your sector, because they are mostly the ones that introduce new technologies, new principles, and new scientific stuff and all of that. Know them. If you are into technology and you want to be a modernist, if you are not receiving email newsletters from Microsoft, from Apple, from IBM, from all of this, then you are not a modernist at all. You understand? Because a modernist, you need to position yourself to be around those industry stakeholders that actually disrupt and introduce modern tools and modern principles in order to advance the industry. You see? So it helps you to become a modernist, because it enables you to create a better career and a better business that makes you stand out from your peers. Okay, good. If you are in the health sector, oh yeah, follow all the highest tech guys who are guys into biotech. Follow a lot of companies in Singapore, in the United States, in Canada. They are very good at different health technology. Read articles from World Health Organization. Read articles from the best healthcare university in the world right now is which university? Check, there's UK and then there's one in the US. Okay, Johns Hopkins University is there, and they have a good teaching hospital. Follow them, get to their websites. They are the highest guys that announces new technologies, new modern ways of doing stuff and all of that. Read, watch YouTube video, go to their YouTube channels. They publish these things there. Watch and understand what is happening. You immediately become a modernist. And it's not something you do once in a while. Number 15, are you getting value? Are you getting value? Are you being challenged? Whose career and business will remain the same after today? Leave me a comment. Say mine if you are sure. Don't say mine because I asked you. Say mine if you know inside of you, body, spirit, soul, and even you have promised God If you know that you have promised yourself, you have promised your soul, you have promised your spirit, and you have promised God that your career and business will remain the same, write that mind. And only that if you go and do something after this, because I know that I will only listen like it will pass through the other ear. I've been doing this thing for a while now, so I know. Everybody will listen, not to go and change. Next week, I organize another master class, they will still be there. So I want people who have picked something, even if it's one, just 1 point, and you hold it in your heart. See this one, this is mine. This is mine. And you go run with it. Even if it's just 1 point that you have picked out of the 15 or so points I'm going to share with you, then I'm okay with it. That alone can even change your life. Okay, number 15, practice provocative conjunct connections. I love this one. Practice provocative and conjunct connections or logical connections between upheavals of the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, and those of our own era. Now, this one is for big boys. Let me tell you something. You cannot advance an industry or contribute to an industry massively and become different if you don't know where that industry is coming from. So I always encourage people to practice provocative and logical connections. Look at it. If you're in technology right now, you need to do a provocative connection, okay, between issues. Maybe the challenges of technology in 1970 and the challenges of technology today. And then connect in a provocative, innovative way and see how you can recommend a better methodology. Sometimes you can look at the challenge in 1980 and you realize that it's the same challenge your industry is facing again in 2022 in this present era. So you begin to ask yourself, why did this happen in 1980 and the same challenge is happening? And why is it happening again now and the same challenge is happening? Now you need to make some logical connections so you can now contribute to new knowledge. People who are leading in their careers and businesses are not people who just come and see. They are people who see and then they contribute. And not just people who focus on reading what is happening right now. No, they make intelligent connections between where the world is coming from and where the world is at the moment. You understand? So practice provocative, logical connections between upheavals of the 1970s, 1960s, 1980s, 1990s. Begin to look at it. Like, for example, the Queen of England just passed away, right? And the Queen of England, the King of England passed in 70 years ago or so. Now, that is an upheaval. Now, how did the passing of the king at that time, how did it affect the business world? Like, for example, if you're a Cameroonian, you're a Nigerian, you're in the Commonwealth English-speaking nation, you need to pay attention to this. Just try to understand certain things. Just try to make logical connections. You see? Just try to make logical connections. It helps you to think better, and it helps you to see opportunities, and it helps you to contribute. So you look at that. What happened when the king died 70 years ago? Now, what is happening in our own era when the queen just died? What does that mean? Are there any connections? What can we learn from it? What can businessmen learn from it? What can businessmen adapt for it? Even in the next couple of years, maybe the day that King Charles III, if he dies maybe 30 years after, Some of us may still be alive. And maybe you'll be in UK, you'll be in London at that time. You need to start looking, okay, what if King Charles III died 30 years, 40 years from now? How would that affect my business? You may now need to look at how did the death of Queen Elizabeth affect businesses in 2022? You pick out the lessons, you pick out what you observed, and then bring it back in 2050. And you begin to look at, you may now share with your company, you may now share with your board, whoever. You don't begin to tell them, look, in 2022, when Queen Elizabeth died, these were the trends that happened, and this is how businesses were affected, or this is how businesses made money. Now, in our own era, if King Charles III dies in 2050, 2060, whatever, we're wishing him long life, long live to the king. Amen, amen. All right, so if he dies now, you can now use the logical connections between these two events, and you can make informed decisions. It makes you look different in the professional world. It makes you look different as an entrepreneur. It makes you more prepared with the changes in the market. It is the same like if I am, let's say that if you have a father or a mother who was there when Ahidjo resigned from power and Pobia came into power, let's say a Cameroonian, you can go ask questions. How did that happen? Talk to your father, interview him or her or your mother. And then you can now use that and begin to anticipate what will happen if there's a new president in Cameroon now after President Pobia. What are the things that may happen? You see, you begin to do provocative and logical connections between upheavals. This for big boys. This for big boys and big girls. And I hope it gives you something that makes you different in your profession and in the work that you do. Okay, number 16, one of my favorite. Avoid to be naively misguided. Many people are naively misguided. Avoid to be naively misguided. Meaning you lack information and thought experience. Let me give you a typical example in Africa. Like there was a lady telling me that somebody promised that they will take her passport and give her a visa to go to the US. And then you give the person 5 million. So in your mind, how do you go to the US when you have not gone to the US embassy yourself for thumbprints? Even common thumbprints, you have not done it. How about visa interview? Where did you read that America and US is visa on arrival? Who told you that one? She was looking at me. That's a typical example of being naively misguided because of lack of information and thought and experience. Some of you listen, you are like that. You have entered scams, you have been deceived because you are too naive. And you will say, I'm a big girl and a big boy. If you are 18 years and above in 2022, and you are still naively misguided about certain things, the village people fighting you, oh my goodness, we don't know where they have gone to the fight to. I looked at this lady, I didn't know what to tell her. I didn't know whether I should shout at her, or I should pity her, or I should cry with her, or I should just carry my hands on my head. Like, who told you that? The internet is there. Did you read anything? Who told you that somebody can take money and take your passport and give you visa to the US? Who will stamp your visa? Even if it's visa entry, visa on arrival, you still need to go through a process online or something. Naively misguided. You cannot build an extraordinary career and business when you are naively misguided. Some people in taxes, you have no idea about the tax law in your country. You have no idea about the tax situation. You have no idea about which taxes you are supposed to pay. When a tax officer comes to your business, you just pay any taxes, naively misguided. So you are listening and smiling behind the cameras. Meanwhile, you know that you are naively misguided on many things. Somebody will come and tell you a sweet lie, and you just believe that is true. You are naively misguided because you lack information, and you lack information because you don't read, you don't look for information. There are some of you that since the year started, you have not bought a newspaper in your life to read. You have no idea the latest policies in your country. You have no idea the latest business policies. You have no idea the latest employment policies. Lack of information, lack of thought, lack of experience. But you want to be successful. How now? No, you tell me. If you are God, will you bless yourself? I was asking one lady one time during coaching. I looked at her and I asked her, I want to ask you, sister, I want to ask you a question. I'm very serious. I want to ask you a question. If you are God, will you bless yourself? She was laughing. I said, no, if you are God, if you are in God's shoes, will you bless yourself? And you claim you have a degree. Who spoiled us? If after listening to this session, your career remains the same, then like the Bible asking the question, who bewitched you Galatians? Who bewitched you Cameroonians? Who bewitched us Africans? Where they have gone to bewitch some of us, oh, blood of God, blood of God, blood of God. Where they have gone to bewitch some of us, avoid to be naive. After today, many of you need to repent from point number 6. You need to repent. Some of you have no idea about the internet. They will come and scam you, naively misguided. You have no idea how the banking sector works. You haven't listened to me. You are more than 20 years old. You have no bank account in your life. So you have never entered the bank to do a single transaction. Naively misguided because of lack of experience. And tomorrow they will scam you. You'll be crying here and there. Majority of who have complained to me about scamming or they are stealing their money, whatever, it has always stemmed from being naive. Meanwhile, they are old enough to know certain things. Naively misguided. You need to avoid that. You cannot build an incredible career and business if you don't know how to seek relevant information in your industry. You don't know how to be an independent thinker. That's what I mean by thought. You lack thought. You don't sit and think. And when you lack information, your thought pattern is weak. It is enough data that enhances your critical thinking. With limited data, your critical thinking is limited. You wake up in the morning, all you read is consume Facebook posts, consume people's status, not even relevant people, people. At least if you are reading status of people like me, you'll be having fun. But you're reading status of friends who can post memes. They post how they are drinking. They post how they are having fun. Those are the only status that you watch. You go on TikTok, you watch. Nothing makes sense on TikTok. Very few videos makes, the rest, jargons. Jargons are on TikTok. I pity anybody, I pity anybody who spends time on TikTok and watching BB Niger. I pity you. Those are typical people who are naively misguided in things that have sense, that you have sense. Highly naively misguided human beings. Avoid to be naively misguided. It's not going to help you in any way. You cannot build an incredible career, an incredible business when you are naively misguided. You need to have a learning attitude. Learn relevant information. Consciously invest in paying for information. Buy books, buy manuals, buy courses, buy tailored material, that can give you access to content. Some of you need to go online today after this session. Go and research visa-free entries for Cameroonians. You will see that there's somebody who paid a visa fee to a travel agent, and when she came, they said, but this country is visa-free for Cameroonians now. Why are you paying a visa stuff? Some countries have visa on arrival. She was looking at me. Are you serious, sir? No, I am not serious. There are some of you that have lost money in countries that are visa-free for Cameroonians or visa on arrival for Cameroonians. All you need to do is just go with your invitation letter, pay your flight, and fly. But how will you do that when you don't even know? Naively misguided. There was another person running an NGO, and they were lying him and taking taxes money every month. And she had no idea. Naively misguided. Who need to repent from point 6? People will be ashamed now to confirm because they don't want to show that they are naive. Don't worry, we were all naive. Oh. We are all naive. Just that some of us, our naivety did not stay long. Who needs to go and repent from point 16? Write me, write I'm guilty. If you are guilty, write I am guilty. That's the beginning of deliverance. Deliverance starts when you know that you need deliverance. You accept that you need to repent. There are some people that have gone through problems now in your life that it's because you are naively misguided. You entered trouble, you entered debt, you entered funny stuff. And you're like, oh, if I knew, I should have read about this thing. If I be don't pass. It passed yesterday. All right, number 17. Do not tolerate familiar misery. It's very important. Do not tolerate familiar misery. Do not tolerate familiar misery. This master class was not for everybody. I knew that would be more than 2 hours because I plan to dish out some of these basics. And these are just the foundations. These are foundations to career dominance. So I'll do another master class will be on career dominance, but now it will pay because the value is heavy. Only those who know the value will pay for it. Number 17, do not tolerate familiar misery. What does that mean? Do not be addicted to the lifestyle that will keep you or usher you into misery. There are some of you doing things right now that will put you into misery tomorrow. For example, you are smoking cigarettes. You know that if you continue, your lungs will be attacked. Misery is waiting for you in future. Example, so if you are smoking now, you are tolerating familiar misery. You may not be sick now, but maybe people don't know that if you smoke cigarettes, when certain illnesses attack you, you find it difficult to recover. You may actually die, not from the cigarette itself, but because of a third-party disease. Some of you are sleeping too much. Familiar misery, sense you don't have. You are too naive, and that's why you've been misguided in your life. Because sleep is empowering your naivety. You know that these things I am doing like this will put me into misery, but yet you are still doing it. That's an example of tolerating familiar misery. Tolerating familiar misery. It's going to hurt you tomorrow, but you're still doing it. Stop tolerating it. Do not be addicted to the lifestyle that will keep you and usher you into misery. Stop wanting to change and change. I don't try and let it go. Yeah, shut the hell up and stop it. Stop trying to stop certain things out of motivation. Stop them out of discipline. Stop pampering what will kill you tomorrow. Stop pampering what will kill you tomorrow. Many of you are doing that. There are some of you, you are tolerating some friends that will kill you tomorrow. You have seen signs, but you are still keeping them. For whatever reason, I have no idea. You are tolerating that. Some friends that they are already misery in your life now, as I'm talking to you now, but you are still tolerating them. Be keeping them now. When they will murder you, will I be there? You are dating a boyfriend who slaps you anytime he's angry. You are already in misery and you are tolerating it. More grace. You're on your own, yeah. You're on your own. Because you have seen signs of the misery, but you are there. You are addicted to something that will kill you, instead of being addicted to something that will improve your life. There are some of you underspending. You are just managing your life with money. Your salary is very small, but you spend anyhow. You buy dresses anyhow. You try to compare. You have terrible spending habits. You are addicted to spending habits with a tax salary. Small salary. You are addicted to spending. Instead of stopping, changing from that and going into the mindset of minimizing your spending and saving and planning for a better future. You are addicted to the life of spending and trying to show that you have made it. Life is not about showing that you have made it, it's about actually making it. This generation has moved from actually making it to showing that they have made it. Who cares? Live your life. Live your life the right way. Stop tolerating familiar misery. Some of you know the things you are doing right now, they have already put you into misery, but yet you are still doing it. Look at your career activities. Look at your business activities. What are those things that you're tolerating that have already started giving you misery and you are still doing it? Stop wanting to change and change. Stop wanting to change and make up your mind to change. And sometimes this is the major reason why you should get a mentor. Because a mentor can set up an accountability system or a structured system. If I thought you are willing to be mentored, people will run for mentorship and are not doing the mentoring activities. They want babysitting. Mentorship is not babysitting. Mentorship is providing you a guide and a structure and holding you accountable as long as you are available to be held accountable. Many times I even overstep my bounds on the mentor and I'm following them, and sometimes I even get angry. Yeah, so mentor don't even have your time. If you like, you do. If you like, you don't talk to the mentor, you will never see him again. But in your mind, you are a mentor. So sometimes this way you can get a mentor where a mentor can help you to stop certain things. I mean, there are many of my mentees that when they came, they used to drink alcohol. Just even without me preaching something alcohol, just the process that is in place, they just naturally walk away from it. There are some people that waking up at 3 a.m. now is like a normal stuff. Right? Good. Because it helps you to stop certain things. But in all, please, if you are doing something that is contributing to your misery tomorrow or today, repent. Go and discipline yourself and wake up. Some people sleep. Sleep is preparing you for misery tomorrow. You wake up and say, hey, and I used to know this guy. I used to know, like one guy saw me, come on, say, now we became a quarter of Kumbo, so remember me again. Say, well, and what happened to you? In my heart? Because I know what they used to do. This guy could drink for Africa. He loved the beer parlor too much. You see? So stop tolerating what is going to kill you, man. Stop pampering what is going to destroy your destiny and your career and your business. Stop pampering it. Be firm in decision making and move forward. Number 18, no one will be impressed by your plans. They will be impressed with your results. Never forget this. For you to create an incredible career and business, too much planning means nothing. It is too much results that changes everything. Take responsibility to produce results. Many people can plan. Oh. You can plan. I am planning. There are many of you. You have been planning to start waking up at 5 a.m., 4 a.m. for the last 2 years. You have never woken up. Shut the hell up and start waking up. Planning does not impress anybody, not even you yourself planning. It is results that impress someone and yourself. You will not be celebrated in your industry because you plan. No, you will be celebrated in your industry because of the results you create for the industry. Dear entrepreneur, your business will not stand in that industry and compete with people because you create strategy and plan. No, it will stand in that industry because you implement the strategy and produce results. Simple. Grammar does not produce result. It is action that produces result. Take responsibility and take the action. You all are listening to me right now. I have said things. I have opened up your mind to certain things. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to take the actions now to produce the results? Or you will keep planning and having the information in your head and doing nothing with it? Remember, in your career and business, nobody will be impressed by your planning. Have you ever heard they give somebody an award? We celebrate you. We celebrate you for too much planning. Oh, you have been planning for the past 15 years. Oh, we celebrate you for being an effective planner and being a failure. Have you ever heard that? No, people celebrate results. You want to be celebrated, produce results. By the grace of God, I have won 35 awards in 3 continents across the world, including an award from Queen Elizabeth in 2018, the Queen's Young Leader Award runner-up, 2018. That award, the Queen, through the Queen's Trust, they gave me a scholarship to do a course at Cambridge University in 2018 for 1 year. It's results. Nobody celebrates you because you plan a lot. You want to be celebrated, you want to impress people, produce results. Stop planning. Don't be like one of my friends. Last month, he told me that he was planning to ask a girl out, and the next time the girl sent him an invitation letter. So what were you planning? Go and ask her out, simple. Planning does not impress anybody. You didn't ask her out, so she got married to who was ready, not who was planning, my friend. Planning does not impress anybody. It is the production of results. It is the ability of taking responsibility to produce results that impress people. And let me tell you, a good brand is important in the professional world. When you impress people with your results, it contributes to your credibility and your brand. And this can position you for more opportunities. You can be endorsed for more platforms because you have proven that you can be trusted. There are many opportunities I've had for myself more because of the result I've been able to produce. Like I always say, stop planning to go international. Produce results in your local community. Produce results in your local town. Produce results in your local country. That's how you go international. Many people want to come and start from the top where they go back. I have not seen that happen. When you are indoors, people now see you and want to invite you to be part of them. The more they're inviting you, the more you're producing results. That's how you keep advancing. You keep advancing. You keep advancing until you get to where you're going to. Stop wishing for international platforms and nobody knows what you can do in your immediate community. Who's going to invite you internationally? And let me tell you something about international platform. They always do due diligence to see what they have done in your country. There are many opportunities I've won, and one of the questions they always ask me during the interview or during the research question is, how many awards have you won in your country? How many local leaders in your country can endorse you? Oh yes, they'll ask for government leaders, they'll ask for church leaders, they'll ask for community leaders, they'll ask for other professionals who can endorse you to prove that you have done work in your local community. The biggest challenge for many people, and look at anybody who have gone international, you see that they have done at least something in their immediate community or in their local country. It's a big, big booster because it is through that people can now trust you. Oh, if this person can do this, it means they can be invited on this particular platform. Stop planning because you will not impress anyone with your plan. The best plan with no execution makes no sense. The worst plan with execution makes more sense than the best plan on paper. Never forget that. The worst plan with execution is the best than the best plan on paper. Never forget that. So I have given you some deep stuff to lay down your foundation, to also awaken you into a new dimension of who you should become and the things you should be doing. The things you should be doing in order to create an extraordinary career and business. I've given you 18 points. And the last point is very critical. If you do all of this, if you take the last point and implement it, you implement the last 17 points. Take responsibility today. Take responsibility today with the things that you have learned and go produce results. I have some questions that I would like you to ponder upon. You can screenshot it, you can take it down, but I want you to ponder upon these questions as you re-strategize your life, as you re-strategize your business. Question number one, what do I dream of doing and how can I be paid to do it? Yes. Now, in this question number one, go and write down, if you dream, for example, I dream of traveling the world to train and to speak or to inspire people about this. I'm talking about like what I did for myself. Or if it's your business, I dream of running a company that does this, and this, write it down. I dream of working for the World Bank, United Nations, whatever, write it down. And then write, how can I be paid for it? How can I be paid to do it? Okay, I will be paid to do it by, you write how you will be paid. If you don't have the answers, research. Ask experts already doing it. How do they get paid? What is their payment model? What is their business model? How do they create the value? And how do they get paid for the value that they create? How do they make money for what they do? Learn from them. Watch YouTube videos. Read articles if you can. Number two question I want you to ask and look for answers. How can I start sharing my dreams with others in a way that empowers myself and my dream and empowers others too? Yes. How can I take this, my dream in my heart, and share with others? I am not talking about public speaking, but I'm just talking about, let's say you're unemployed right now and your dream is to work with the World Bank. Okay, how can you start sharing that dream with others in a way that can empower yourself? Okay, maybe look for a local microfinance and volunteer there. Gain skills in local banking services. While you're doing that, maybe you're doing that, you're applying for a master's degree scholarship or a PhD scholarship, or you're applying for jobs at the World Bank, or you're building relevant networks with people. Yes, you are empowering yourself and empowering your dream. You have not just allowed your dream inside of you. No, you are taking actions to share your dream with others. And while you are volunteering with that microfinance, you are empowering a microfinance. Maybe your dream is to maybe be a coach someday, or be a speaker someday, a consultant someday. Okay, start by working with local guys in your church. That's where I started actually. Start by bringing guys. I used to bring high school guys into my house and I would speak to them, 2011, 2012. You see, you can speak to them, share your dream, empower them, gain the experience, empower others, and you're good to go. If you can get the answers to these two questions, they will shaken you a lot and put you on a new pedestal of continuous seeking and improvement so you can advance your life. All right, everybody, while we get into questions, I want to talk to you about 3 of our programs which I wanted to do. Number 1 is the Marketplace Fellowship Program. It's a free program. Cohort 10 admission is going on right now. I think training starts on Monday. And you can check my Facebook, or you can write me on WhatsApp, and I will send you more details on how you can be part of the fellowship program. It's a program that you go through for 13 days of trainings with me. So you go through some of our courses for 13 days. So you're going to learn more. Like what I've taught you, so those are attending my master class for the first time. This is just a small tip of the foundation. There are many other things that you can learn. So if you attend the fellowship, it's free. The certificate is optional. That's why you get to pay a fee. I think it's 5,000 for a certificate. Anybody can afford it if you are serious, right? So in a Marketplace Fellowship, the word positioning is important. The main aim of this fellowship is to teach entrepreneurs and professionals how they can position themselves in the job market or in the business environment for opportunities. There are many opportunities around the world, but many people are not able to see them because they don't know how to position themselves for the opportunities. So when you go through this fellowship, in less than 14 days or so, you will learn different strategies that you can practice in your daily life, career, and business, and position yourself where you can get more opportunities, exposure, and succeed in what you do. So you can enroll for it later. You can just write me on WhatsApp, or you can write Laurentine on WhatsApp, and you will get something. The next is our next program that we're promoting from Monday. Is called the Business Sustainability Strategy Program. This is strictly for business people, or if you want to become a consultant in business. This is one of the most difficult things to do in business consulting, business sustainability. Many people don't know what to do as far as this is beyond business coaching. So if you want to learn how you can build your business to be very sustainable in the long run, 10, 20, 15, 30 years from now, then you can go for this program. So it's called Business Sustainability Strategy Diploma program. Yes, it will be certified as far as that is concerned. I'm trying to look for the flyer for that so that I look at the dates. Okay. All right, hold on, please. Yes, so you can really trying to see that particular flyer. Okay, but again, talking about the business sustainability program, you can register for it if you are serious to learn the art of business sustainability, how you can run your business in a sustainable way. You are welcome to register for that program. I think there is a discount going on as far as that program is concerned. I want to check the price. Sometimes a lot of things. Okay, just a moment, please. Okay, I found it. So yes, anybody, if you really run a business that you really wanted, you have a long-term dream for the business. You really have a long-term dream for the business. I'm not talking about those who are doing try and error. You're really sure that, you know, this business is something that you want to see it last for a very long time. Why not 50 years, 100 years? One of the best things that you need to know how to do is to master the art of sustainability. Again, and if you are a business coach or you are planning to get into business coaching and you are serious as far as that is concerned. You can come and you can learn business sustainability strategy, how to build strategies for companies, for individuals that want to do that. Is going to help you a lot. Okay, here is the flyer. You are the first people to see it. Actually, it's not yet gone public. I've not shared it yet. So business sustainability strategy executive diploma program is going to be from the 17th of September to the 23rd. So there are modules per day. So these are some of the modules that will handle. We'll handle a session on core values and business sustainability, a session on the 12 startup commandments, a session on business growth and profitability drivers, a session on managing business complexity, a session on problem solving mental models, a session on elements of a winning sustainability strategy, and so on, right? So we are going to have all of this, and when you leave there, you have an incredible mindset. We'll be online, so there'll be live sessions, and of course, we'll go through the courses I've already recorded to make work easy. And just 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. daily, and the fee is 55,000 francs. But if you can pay before the 13th of September, in the next 3 days, you can benefit from a partial scholarship. So if you're interested, all you need to do is WhatsApp me or connect with me on Facebook, anywhere that you're following me, and I will be on standby to reply you. Okay. So the last thing I want us to talk about is, for those who are aware, we have been promoting our online learning platform, Peak Performance University. So this is our online learning platform where you can come here and you take different courses, and you take these courses, you register for these courses. Some are paid, some are free. You pay them on the platform, you study them on the platform, and you get your certificate on the platform. PPU is recognized as a professional development institution. So you can, for professional skills development, you can use the certifications anywhere around the world for portfolio increase and all of that. These are some courses that you can see. Many of these things that I've taught, you can see some deeper stuff, design thinking for product and service launch, networking. I was talking about networking. Learn deeper on how to network. Networking, a tool for career and business growth. Networking is not just about knowing people. There are deeper things to do in networking to establish long-term relationships. So there are 100 plus courses. I was talking about this course, 40 online tools and platforms for professional entrepreneurs. There are some 40 online platforms and tools that you need to know how to use if you're going to survive in this age of technology as an entrepreneur and professional. So you can take this course. So the courses are very affordable. You see course for 2,500, 5,000, 3,000, 4,000, very affordable courses on different stuff. So go to ppuniversity.com and you are good to go. All right, that's it for me. I can take questions for a few minutes and then we'll round up. If you have questions for me, all you need to do is to raise up your hand and the Zoom section, and I will answer. If you are following on Facebook, I'm aware on Facebook, all you need to do is to, those are following on Facebook, all you need to do is to type your question in the comment section, and I will see and respond to it. Let's take a few questions and then we round up. Yes, Nicole, go ahead.
Hello, good evening, sir. Thank you so much for the amazing session. I really just wanted to take out this time to appreciate you because most of these things you said came as a reminder, and at times we just forget or we neglect them, but we always need such reminders, especially someone like me. I remember that it was when I traveled, I took the plane for my first time and I went to another country and I saw the way things were being done. that I came back, my mindset got transformed. I started doing what I'm doing. Like I started searching for more and willing to do more about my career. And you talked about modelist. I think that was where I was heading to. But getting this reminder right now is like for me to put more effort. I really want to appreciate you again. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Good. Thank you for that feedback. Thank you. Awesome. Anybody else with a question? Please shoot your question if you have a question for me. No question? All right, we don't need to waste time. I mean, it's getting late for those who are in Cameroon. Good, so we're going to go to bed. Yes, yeah, Issa. I hope I got your name right. Go ahead.
Yes, good evening again once more. I really want to appreciate you for the gesture and for the impact you are giving to us. And I've been following you for some time now on Facebook, and I'm following one of your program from the professional entrepreneur. I'm in one of the groups. So
awesome.
I'm really getting a lot of impact from your programs, and in fact, I've already started taking some actions.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm very happy. And again, sir, I want to ask for a favor. I had a breakdown for my battery in the computer. I had to switch to the phone, and I missed out one point. That's point number 17. So
point number 17. Okay, who remembers
yes.
Point number 17? Point number 17 states you should not tolerate misery, familiar misery.
Okay, so do not tolerate familiar
misery. Yes, it's on the third box. Okay.
Okay, so thank you.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Let us run. The day is fast spent. Time is fast spent. So, okay, there's a question. As an amateur in a particular business field, how do you kickstart and gain exposure? Your first job is to start. Start now. What do you want to do? It depends. But every business you need to start. So tell me, what do you want to do? What's the field? Because say in a particular field, the way somebody can start in tech, not the same way somebody can start in agriculture. But your first job to exposure is to start. And when you start, you need to grow. You need to produce results from your level. It's not about competing. Those have gone. And one thing in this field is avoid trying to do things to compete. Avoid trying to do things to compete. Start and do your stuff. Okay? Start and do your stuff. So start small from where you are and make sure you're growing and make sure you're creating the value. Make sure you're producing the result and improve on your results. Stagnant results cannot get you exposure. You need to improve and grow, expand as you grow. And of course, you need to know how to use the media to document the impact you're doing. If you are doing excellent work and nobody knows what they're doing, you will never get exposure. That's why I need, how can you use Facebook? How can you use LinkedIn? How can you use email marketing? How can you use video? How can you use televisions to expose the work that you do? You need to know how to use these things. No matter how excellent you are, if you are not doing marketing and nobody knows what they're doing, you will never gain the exposure and you will never really be get the attention you're looking for as you wish. Okay. All right. Right, everybody, have a good night. Let's stay in touch. And if you are not in any of my WhatsApp groups, please, I'm dropping a WhatsApp number here. You can write me. You can write me on that WhatsApp number, and I will add you. If you are not, don't write me if you're in any of our WhatsApp communities, because it means that any of them you are filling space, double space. If you are already in any of our WhatsApp groups, don't write me for WhatsApp. So you can contact me from there, want to contact me. But if you are joining for the first time and this is your first time in our community, and you want to be in a WhatsApp community, in a WhatsApp group, please send me a WhatsApp message and we'll put you in a WhatsApp group, and you can be, or somebody directed you here, you can talk to the person and they have a WhatsApp group, they will send you there and you're good to go. Okay. All right, everybody, have a good night. Good evening for those who are joining from other countries, and good midnight for those who are already in other countries. All right, guys, cheers.